Inside PressBox is presented by Live Casino and Hotel. Always live, always on. For the best in sales, service, parts, and collision repair, visit ThompsonAutomotive.com.
And the Chesapeake Bayhawks are fired up and ready to kick off this summer lacrosse season with the most competitive team fielded to date. Visit thebayhawks.com or call 866-99-HAWKS. We're all in. Are you?
And PressBox wants to help you find the perfect summer camp for your kids. Go to findkidscamp.com and sort by location, dates, ages, and whatever interests your kids have. Plan your summer camp schedule now at findkidscamp.com.
And welcome back into the show. The CDC has found a 43% increase in the rate of suicide among men ages 45 to 64. Our next guest is leading a research project at the University of Maryland School of Social Work to engage men in suicide help-seeking behaviors. It's a pleasure to welcome in the principal investigator of this study, Dr. Jodi Frey. And Dr., welcome in. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
And this is alarming. I mean, these numbers, are alarming when you're presented with them. My question is, and I didn't know anything about it, why don't more people know about this?
The rate of suicide amongst working age men has been increasing for many years, and there has been almost no attention with funding and research as to what is happening, what's going on, and maybe more importantly, what works in terms of helping these men to get connected to resources that would reduce their suicide ideation and save lives.
I just wanted to make clear, because it may have gotten lost in this introduction, that your study is based on men in Michigan.
Correct.
That are taking their lives by suicide. How did you, at the University of Maryland School of Social Work, end up studying men in Michigan?
So I'm on the National Action Alliance for Suicide Prevention in the Workplace Task Force. And for many years, the partners have been seeing the rates increasing amongst working age men with no opportunities to do any kind of research. So when the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention came out with a call for proposals to do innovative ways to reach out to middle-aged men, I was like, hey, who wants to partner on this? And this is our opportunity. So two partners, actually not in Michigan either, Screening for Mental Health in Massachusetts and Man Therapy out of Colorado, were working together to address suicide in working aged men. And the three of us came up with a research study that we're now doing a statewide campaign called Healthy Men Michigan throughout the state of Michigan.
So just to give a little background for our viewers, 44,000 people a year die by suicide in this country. Those are the last available figures. Apparently 77% of those 44,000 are men.
Correct.
Can you identify the reasons why men are more susceptible to that?
There's a lot of reasons that are thought in terms of why men are more susceptible, but perhaps one of the major ones is the type of means they use. Men are have much more access and are much more likely to use a firearm, which is a more deadly way of taking one's life. So you see men actually die by suicide 4 times more often than women. Throughout the country, suicide is actually the 10th leading cause of death. And amongst men of all age groups, that's been increasing at exponential rates and continues to increase. So in addition to firearms, we also see the way that men and boys are brought up not to show their emotions. If I talk about my emotions or if I say I might be depressed, someone would see me as weak. So there's a lot of stigma that is real, and it's still really out there in the world as to why men are not connecting and might isolate more. And then couple that with men who might live in rural areas, that not only is there depression, is there stigma, is there cultural norms against seeking help, but then there's a lack of access to mental health professionals in some of our rural areas.
So one of the ways that you've started to fish for these subjects for your study, and I use that terminology because you got to find them and have them respond, is via social media and the use of a couple sports figures such as Eric Hipple and the goaltender Clint Malarchuk. How have you found that these men can sort of relate, or that warms them up to engaging with you?
So the intervention we're testing, Man Therapy, actually is a completely innovative method for doing mental health. It's humorous, it talks about strength and resilience, it tries to give men tools to actually do something about their mental health and well-being. And we've been equating a lot with physical health and mental fitness, and that connection is very attractive to men that want to do something about feeling better. but don't know what to do, don't know what the resources are. So when we're able to do social media, whether it be through Twitter or Facebook, we use a lot of humor. We try to break down the stigma, saying that, you know, taking care of your mental health is a manly thing to do. And folks like Clint and Eric that are willing to tell their story about how they've recovered, how they found reasons for living, have really broken down the barriers to help men feel like, hey, I'm not alone in this, and actually there's some help out there for me.
So we've got about 45 seconds left. What is the actual result that you're hoping to get from this study?
The result is that we can engage men throughout the state that aren't connected to any other resources. And I can say at this point, we've screened about 4,000 people in Michigan. Of the men who are ages 25 to 64 in Michigan, almost 60% are at some risk for suicide. And these men are not necessarily connected to any traditional health or mental health resources. So we're getting them the information, we're letting them know where they stand in their mental health, and we're connecting them to resources that can really help them.
Dr. Jodi Frey, thank you for
Wonderful
coming
what you're
in.
doing.
We'll keep our eyes on
you.
this topic, and when appropriate, have you back in. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
After
Go ahead.
Yeah,
That's yours.
After the break, former Detroit Lions quarterback Eric Hipple does join us. He's teamed up with the Healthy Men Michigan, and he shares his personal battle with depression and the stigma attached to it. Inside PressBox will be back after this.
Hero Appreciation Day is every Wednesday at Live Casino and Hotel. Live Rewards members with a valid military, DOD, police officer, or firefighter ID receive special offers. Visit MarylandLiveCasino.com for details. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Inside PressBox is presented by Live Casino and Hotel. Always live, always on.